Hey everybody, it's Tim Town and welcome back. Today's training is going to be about blogging. You know, that's what we're all doing to drive more traffic to our information products or to our websites, to whatever it is that you're selling, or just to be able to get more traffic to your Empower Network blogging system. So how do you go about doing that? And that's what we're going to go over today, of how to write a blog post. Now, everything that I'm going over today, I'm actually going to write a blog post regarding this. Therefore, you can go see it to see what it looks like, how it's structured. Recognize that is the best way to optimize your blog so that you know that it's going to get the best type of ranking possible. So what we're going to do is go over the frameworks of a blog post and why you're doing it. Okay, so the first thing that you need to do, of course, is to find something to write about. Now, the best way to do that is to figure out what you're interested about. What is it, if you go to a party or if you're just in a room full of people, what is it that you tend to talk about or discuss more often? These are the type of things that you may want to blog about. Now, that is if you're using the Empower Network system, because remember, the way you monetize that is it's already monetized for you. The banner ad in the sidebar is monetized. When people click on that and they join the Empower Network, you're going to get paid. So that's kind of a business in itself. But aside of that, what you're going to blog about is basically what you're wanting to drive traffic to. For instance, I have a website called payoffyourdebt.org. And with that site, I talk about how to get people out of debt. My goal is to get as many people out of debt to where they're literally debt-free. It's a passion of mine. It's something that I love writing about. That's what I'm talking about. Figure out what it is that you're passionate about and make that your post. You know, make that be your article and just get as much research on it. I know I do as much research possible, including new laws. I mean, there's always something to write about, so you're going to want to do that. Now, with this blog post that we're going to go over today, go to timtown.net, not .com, but .net, and you'll be able to see that blog post to see how I structured it. So we're going to go over that right now, and I'm going to explain all the terminology. You're not going to be in the dark anymore. You're going to understand exactly how to structure things. You can play around with it so your website doesn't look like everybody else's, and I'm going to talk about that as well. So the first thing that I'm going to talk about is H1 tags. Now that's your headline. So I'm going to call it a H1 tag or headline. That is basically that is the headline to your article. So that is your H1 tag. So if any of you are using SEO Presser and you already have a headline, some themes, SEO Presser doesn't recognize the header as an H1 tag. So recognize if it says you don't have an H1 tag, you know that you do, because as soon as you label your article, usually that's an H1 tag. The way you really know is look at the HTML coding, and it's going to say H1 tag in it. So this is your H1, so that is your headline. So you're going to have your headline, like mine happens to be, what do I blog about? So that's going to be the headline, right? And refer to it. You may even want to open up another browser and look at what I'm talking about, so this way you understand. The second thing you're going to want to do then, once you have your headline, some people make the mistake of they're doing their H2 tag next. You don't want to do that. You want to now write your first paragraph right here. Okay, so you're going to write your first paragraph. Now, the way to open it up, just like any story, is you want it to be compelling. You want to engage them. You want them to want to read more, okay? And remember, we're in a society where people don't want to read, so I have two modalities for this, or two ways of how I get the information across. I'm going to show you my little secret. But the second thing you need to do is put a picture here. Now, be careful here. You don't want to go on Google and just grab pictures, because you can go to images and grab them. There is copyright law, and trust me, you can get in trouble if you grab a wrong picture out there. Make sure that you have rights to it. The best way to do it is to go to these image stores, if you will, and Fotolia, I think is one. Fotolia, I think is the name of it. And of course you have Corbett, or I think it's Corbis, one of the two. Just Google, images for sale or whatever, and you'll find them. I'll actually put a link somewhere in this training video as to where we get ours. But you get a picture, and with your picture, I'm going to come back to this. So this is a pic. We'll just put a person here or whatever that is. And that is going to be another way to structure your content. Now, after the first paragraph, what I like to do, and there's a couple things you can do here. You can actually put your, you got your headline, video, then paragraph. But I like to do it this way so that there's an interest there for them to want to watch a video. Then I'm going to put, a YouTube video here, or wherever you have your free hosting site. This is important. Okay, this is on-page SEO that we're discussing here. Your branded content, meaning like that's in a membership, that's when you're going to want to have it hosted like SE3, Easy SE3. That's a paid service, but it locks it down so people can't view those videos. You want to protect that data. This you don't, because you're wanting to drive traffic. So you're going to want a YouTube video here. And basically that could be about training, could be about anything there. Then of course the second paragraph, that is when you want to put your H2 tag and bold it again. Okay, now mind you, it's already bold, so you don't have to do that. But once you choose your H2 tags, and if you're using WordPress, if you're using, WordPress, it already has where you could drop down the menu and you could do paragraph, H1, H2, H3, H4 on down tags. That's how you do it. You just grab it and then you start writing, okay? And same with here. You would have your article here is paragraph. This is your H1. It's already done for you. And then here, if it's not done for you, then you're going to have to tag it as H1 tag. Your second one, again, you're going to want to have your keyword or keyword phrase, and I'm going to just say phrase here. You want your keyword phrase in the opening sentence, preferably in both of these. So as soon as you have your headline here, in the first paragraph, you want your keyword phrase in there. Again, you're going to see an example of mine by going to timtown.net. The second thing you're going to want to do, again, of course, is write your second paragraph. Your paragraph, you have to be careful. You don't want too many words, okay? You want to narrow this down to about 3 or 4 lines. The reason being, when you're reading digitally, it's more of a strain on the eyes, and it's less pleasing if you're just reading this really long content. So a lot of English teachers and stuff like that probably don't like how certain sentences and paragraphs are formed, but it's the only way to really do this with digital content because it's a lot easier on the eyes. And you need to have some spaces in between. It's another mistake that I'm seeing is people don't leave enough spaces. So look at mine, you're going to see what I'm talking about. So be careful of how long your paragraphs are. So the next thing you're going to want to do is have your H2 tags. Again, now go into the meat of the story. Now you're going to hear, sometimes I talk about what I'm going to talk about, and I'll talk about that in a moment. And then I now hit them with facts and information. And then the third, I do my H3 tag, I do my closing. Okay, so I may recap what we discussed or additional information, what have you. And then of course I close the article and then I usually sign off with some sort of to your success or what have you. So whatever you want to do, you do there. But that is basically the structure. Now, your YouTube video, again, this is all about SEO. This is all about structure of a blog post. This is what's going to make you look good, and it's also going to give you the best ranking when people are looking for your information. So remember, my headline is going to have my keyword phrase that I did research on. Now mind you, if it's a keyword phrase that only 2 people a month look for, you're writing to those 2 people. Just remember that. So you want to make sure that whatever your keyword phrase is, that there's enough traffic keying in those keyword phrases into Google or Bing or whatever that it is that you're being able to do the keyword analytics on. at that point, once you know that, you're going to want to be able to structure it, because that's how Google says, you know what, this is a really good article. We're going to put this up as a higher ranking. And this is how you can rank higher than a lot of articles out there, because there's a lot of people that are writing articles that don't know how to write like this. So another thing that you want to look at is 300 to 500 words. Now, I would prefer the 500 words. You're going to see that I think mine is just over 300 words. Even that does well because I have a video. Okay, so keep in mind, this has weight to it. Having a video has a lot of weight to it. It also has a lot more link juice going back. There's just so much more that the video is going to do for you. For one, for the ones that don't like to read, they're going to go right to the video. For the ones that like to read, they're going to read it and then watch the video. Maybe they won't even watch the video. But neither way, you're going to want to do that. So you're going to want one picture. You're going to want a video or a link to the video. You could do that as well. So you have the title of the video. Watch how to blog video, okay? So you're going to have a keyword phrase in there and it's going to link to the video. You could absolutely do that. If you're going to do that, what I would do instead of just a link to it, I would have a picture. Remember, if you're using Jing, it's easy to do this. I would grab a picture of the video player, because that's like a call to action in itself. It makes them want to click on it, and then that would take them to the video. I do this a lot and I find out that it wins really well, but in my articles I just like to have the video embedded right in, and it's very easy to do, to embed this video. Now, for those that are blogging on Empower Network right now, the video embedding is not working. They're working on that. Just have a little patience. I know it's hard sometimes, but they are working on it. They already got the visual editor in working now, which is great. Remember, we're only, what, week 6 into the launch? That's pretty amazing when you have over 10,000 writers now, syndicated writers for the Empower Network, and to have just the blogs that they've had. By the way, that's growing pains, and it's understandable. When I built out the Academy, you wouldn't believe the issues that we're having, and we were certainly blowing through a lot of cash. So I have a lot of respect for them, men, and I understand how difficult it really is to get something like this moving. So just bear with them. They are going to get it fixed. So there you have it. You've got your headline. You've got what the article is about, what you're going to discuss, and you want to have the keyword and keyword phrase in the article at least 3 to 4 times, okay? You're going to want that in there. And make sure that you have the keyword phrase in the very last sentence of your article. So you want it in the first sentence. I prefer first, middle, and then of course last. But I usually have the keyword phrase in there at least 3 to 4 times. Now, the next thing you're going to want to do, once you write the article, once you got the picture in there, once you have your video embedded, and real quick, let me go back to the video. The video, you're going to want the title to be the same as this title. So you want the same title. Let me get a different pen here. You want the same title, but what instead you're going to do is watch this video or whatever. So it's a little different, okay? So you're going to want to do that. The next thing you're going to do is the same thing that you would do with the alt tags here. When you structure this video, when it has you put in the information, what the video is, what the tags are, okay, what the keywords are, you're going to want to put that in the video. Once you go to upload it, you'll see that YouTube gives you that feature. And you're going to want to do the same thing. You're going to want to be able to load it. Like with the description of the video, don't just put how to blog. That's not going to do anything. Actually write a pretty decent article right inside the description with the same things, with the exception of H1, H2, and H3 tags, but with the same thing. You're going to want to have a keyword loaded. You're going to discuss about it. Like, to give you an example, in this video, Tim Town discussed how you blog and what to blog about, how to break through writer's block. You know, I'm going to just write a really nice long description. That is a secret, my friends. Most people do not do that. The ones that do have a lot more views of their videos, so you're going to want to do that. Again, remember the alt tags. The alt tag, and it's as soon as you embed a picture, you're going to see where it's going to ask you that. Most people leave that blank. Don't do that. The alt tag needs to be your keyword phrase. Okay, I hope this is all coming together for you. And we're going to have a quick recap in a minute. So remember, you've got your picture, you've got the beginning of your article, you've got a YouTube video. If you can, it could be a screen capture, whatever it is that you're doing. You don't have to add the video. If you're not going to add the video, make sure that your article is a little longer then. If you're going to add the video, you're pretty good at 300 to 500 words. But add the video. Remember the video, when you embed the video, make sure when you upload it that you're going to have all the keywords in there, have an article inside the description, and make sure you have your keyword tags. Same with your article. When you write an article, you will see inside of WordPress that's going to ask you, first of all, what is this about, the category? So make sure you check off the categories. Like this one, it's going to be about blogging, right? So I'd have a category about blogging, and then under that, it's going to have what is the keywords. So you got to put the keywords in there and make sure you have enough of them. And you don't want to do keyword stuffing. What I mean that blog, 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 blog. You don't want to do that. You want to say how to blog, blogging for dummies, whatever. Just make sure that you have your keywords and make sure that you have a comma after each and every keyword. But that is it, my friends. This is how easy it is. And to figure out what to blog about, write down. Do a little exercise with yourself as to what interests me. What do I like to talk about? What would I like to make money in? What industry it excites me? Like with me, I love physical fitness. I love diet. I like the Sardinian diet. We're actually theming out right now SardinianDiet.com because we love that whole thing, and it's an interest to ours. So we are building that out. This is the same thing that you can do with me with payoffyourdebt.org. Was the same thing. I love helping individuals get out of debt. I already have a company that does that for people. We're negotiators. We do business turnaround. But I wanted to be able to make a platform for people to do it themselves. So, that was a passion of mine, and I turned it into a monetized business. People become members, we get paid. So this is it, my friends. This is all you have to do to structure your blog. Remember to look at timtown.net and you'll see an example of a blog post. Alrighty, I will see you on another training video. I hope this has helped.